For around the mouth, I decided to use Sculpt Gel. Now, some people I think would use Scar Wax. The reason I'm not too fond of Scar Wax is even though it's a heck of a lot cheaper than Sculpt Gel, it's just a lot less versatile. I prefer Sculpt Gel because you can put it on places like the mouth where there's a lot of movement and it will move with the skin, it won't crease or anything like that, and it's just a lot more practical. So I'm going to be using it around the mouth, and I had to wait about 10-15 minutes for this to dry. And now I'm going to be taking a nail art brush and my Super Colour palette. Now if you don't have this palette, you can also use a red lipstick, that will work as well. And you want to start from the mouth and draw out, creating small little veins, first in red, and then later move on to some bluish tinged veins. This part was quite fun to do. This is called tooth enamel and it looks disgusting, it tastes disgusting, but you can get some awesome effects with it. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that the teeth are dry, and you have to keep your mouth open while you've applied it and wait for about 30 seconds for it to dry. And now what I'm going to be doing is I took a black eyeshadow and I just worked it into the crease of the eye because I wanted to make them look hollowed out, tired, sunken, and for this I just used a black eyeshadow from a sleek palette and an ordinary C-shaped brush before blending it all out. Funnily enough, this part was the hardest part, and that was getting Kimmi's skin to look dead, because Kimmi's got really nice skin, it's really healthy, really glowy, and so I had to take it down a couple of skin tones, and I also had to make it look dead, which wasn't easy and easily took about an hour to do. Then after that I went back into the Super Colour palette and I took a bit of an orangey red shade and I worked it just a little bit around the eyes to make them look swollen and irritated. Blood, I just used red food colouring, and one of my favourite ways to apply blood is just to get any kind of old paintbrush that you don't want to use, literally cut the heck out of it so that it's a complete and utter mess, and use that to apply it, because then the effect you'll get is very random, which is how it's meant to look. It can't look too methodical. With the Sculpt Gel I also created a gash across Kimmi's collarbone, and after I'd done this and applied the blood, I took a black eyeshadow from a sleek palette and a blending brush, and I worked this into Kimmi's collarbone because I needed to make her collarbone and her neck look quite gaunt and like it was shrinking and slowly decaying. For the bite mark I used rigid collodion. Now if you don't know what this is, it looks like a transparent nail varnish, but it isn't nail varnish. And what it does is once it dries, it basically constricts and pushes the skin down, so it makes it look like you've got a scar. And the more you layer it, the deeper the scar looks. Now if you don't have this, you don't have to use it. You can go back to using any kind of lipstick, or if you've got the Super Colour palette, and draw in the bite mark. The main thing that you need to focus on is the swelling around the bite mark. This is what's going to make it look a lot more realistic. And then add a few things like blood and veins and you've got a bite mark. And then to finish off, I just put a bit more shadow underneath the eye just to make them look a little bit more hollowed out. Then I put blood everywhere, and that's it.
Dangerous girl. Hey guys, it's Kimmi here. I got bit.